Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the 5-game NBA slate on Draftkings for today on Tuesday, November the 21st. 5-game slate for Tuesday, guys. We're going to go game by game and give you a quick preview of this 5-game slate, what I do like, taking a first look at this slate on Monday night. As always though, before we do get started with the breakdown, if you guys do enjoy these DFS videos and if they do help you out, make sure you hit that like button down below, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to the channel, and if you don't have an account over on PrizePicks, we are partnered up with PrizePicks. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks, linked down below in the description, or just when you sign up, make sure to use promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code. And if you don't know what PrizePicks is, they are a player prop site. They're focused on player projections, and it's really simple. You just pick more or less on a player's projection. You have to make at least 2 picks on PrizePicks, but you can make up to 6 picks. And you can win up to 25x your money. I do want to give a shout out to PrizePicks because they do have a free square available for Thursday's NFL games on Thanksgiving Day. Christian McCaffrey's rush plus receiving yards is set at 0.5. So this is a free pick PrizePicks is giving you. It's available for new users and for existing users as well. So if you guys don't have an account on PrizePicks, that's another incentive to sign up, get access to that free square. Pretty sure it's a $25 limit, so you can use it. You can do a $25 entry. You can make multiple $10 entries. You can make multiple $5 entries. It's just how you want to play it. It's just until you reach that limit is when you can't use it anymore. But you can use it up until the game starts and up until you reach that limit. So again, if you guys don't have an account on PrizePicks, sign up. Use that promo code NOAH. Get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk about this slate for DFS tonight. Start off with the first game of the night. Again, we're going to do like a quick game-by-game breakdown. So first game of the night, the Raptors and the Magic. We'll start off on the Raptors side. So looking at the Raptors here, the price tags on these Toronto guys, they aren't super appealing. It's hard to, even on a 5-game slate, it's hard to see any standout plays here coming from Toronto. But, there's guys here that are definitely playable. Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, I think are always viable options. Barnes has had a huge role this season. He's been playing a ton of minutes. I know the last few games he's kind of been disappointing, but we know that Barnes, when he's on the floor, is going to do everything. He's going to play 35, 36 minutes if the game's competitive. I have no issue with Scotty Barnes at 8,900. Pascal Siakam, we've kind of seen a little bit of a resurgence from him. He's starting to produce at a much higher rate than he was at the beginning of the season. Minutes have also been, they've been down lately, but you look at some of these games, I'm pretty sure these games were blowouts. This game against Boston, he was in foul trouble. Most nights, we can expect 35, 36 minutes for Siakam. At 8,200, I think Siakam's definitely in play here. Between him or Barnes, I think I'd rather play Siakam for the savings. Then you have Dennis Schroeder at 6,400. He's been really good this season for the Raptors. His price tag feels about right, though. Schroeder's not a standout play at the salary, but I think he's still a viable option. OG Anunoby did return from injury last game, played 27 minutes. Again, that was a blowout against Detroit. It's 6K. I'm not super interested in OG here. I think he's probably one of my least favorite plays from the Raptors. And then Jakob Poeltl, minutes are never going to be super high for Jakob Poeltl, but I think most nights he probably plays 25 to 28 minutes. He is someone that can be really productive when he's on the floor, and we've seen that in his last few games. 41 DK points in 27 minutes against Milwaukee, 43 DK points in 25 minutes last game against Detroit. I think this matchup against Orlando is fine for Jakob Poeltl, so I don't mind Poeltl here at 5,900. And then the only other guy that I'll mention is Gary Trent. So Gary Trent, he did start this game against Boston, but then last game with OG back, he came off the bench. But you see the minutes have still been pretty solid for Gary Trent, and really ever since he returned from injury, the last 2 games, he has played 31 and 26 minutes. He's going to be their 6th man. At 4,800, we don't have a ton of value on this slate, so I definitely think Gary Trent is in play for value today. Even though he's going to come off the bench, he should still probably get 25-ish minutes, which puts him in play at this price tag. But that's it for the Raptors. Let's talk about the Magic now. The Magic, they're not a super appealing team here. This matchup against Toronto is one that I really don't love targeting. I think on the Orlando side, if I had to play any Magic today, my favorite plays would probably be Franz Wagner at 6,500. I think that price tag, when you compare him to Paolo, I'd probably rather take the savings and play Wagner over Paolo. Wagner, he doesn't have a super high ceiling, but he does give you a very solid floor. Most nights he's going to play mid to high 30s minutes. At 6,500, he can easily outperform this salary when he gets 34, 35 minutes. Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs are obviously going to have bigger roles, more secure minutes without Markelle Fultz, but the price tags have already kind of been adjusted for that. Cole Anthony's almost 6K. Suggs is 5,600. Neither one of those guys stand out at their price tags. Goga Batadze, he's going to continue to start while Wendell Carter Jr. is out. We've seen Batadze put up some good games lately. Some of these matchups, though, have been pretty favorable. This matchup against Toronto, I don't think is nearly as good for Goga. And at 5K, he's not like a standout play at this price tag to me. The bench guys from Orlando, I'm not really going to be targeting here. So if I'm going to play any Magic today, I think my favorite play is probably Franz. The rest of these guys aren't super appealing to me. Let's move on to the next game, though, Indiana and Atlanta. So if we're just talking about like game environment, this is definitely the best game environment on the slate. Two teams that play really fast, two teams that aren't great defensively. This should be a really fast-paced, high-scoring game. Looking at some Indiana guys here, you have Tyrese Halliburton, who is 10,400 today. Really expensive, but hard not to, it's obviously justifiable. You look at Halliburton's game log this season, aside from last game against Orlando, which was a massive blowout, Halliburton has been crushing this season. He's shown a massive ceiling, 75 DK points against Philadelphia, 60. Like he's got that 60, 70 point upside. Now at this price tag, I don't think he's going to project super well, just because he is a little bit overpriced right now for what we're used to playing Halliburton at. But there's definitely, you could argue that he's got like a better role, more usage, more ball handling than he even had last season. His assist numbers have just been absurd this year. At 10-4, I still think Halliburton's viable. Probably more of a tournament play, though, just because I think he's not going to project super well. I don't think he's someone I'd be playing like in cash games. But tournaments, if he comes in at low ownership, the upside's definitely there in this matchup. I think Miles Turner's in a pretty good spot as well. Miles Turner's minutes have kind of been all over the place this season, but that's largely been due to either foul trouble or blowouts. As long as he avoids foul trouble here and this game stays competitive, which it should, we're probably going to get like low to mid 30s minutes from Miles Turner, and he is a productive player when he's on the floor. I like the matchup quite a bit for him. I definitely have interest in Miles Turner here. Buddy Hield coming off the bench, I'll probably pass on. Bruce Brown feels priced about right at 5,500. Benedict Mathurin has had some good games this season, but he's also been pretty inconsistent. Look, he's got a ceiling if he can knock down shots. He's shown the ability to rebound as well. It's a great game environment, so like I wouldn't be surprised if Benedict Mathurin has a good game here, but it is price tag, not a standout play. And then Obi Toppin, we've kind of seen a little bit of a resurgence from Obi Toppin. He did have a really good game against Philadelphia. I thought we were going to see Obi Toppin have a big role this season. That really hasn't been the case. But again, this is a great matchup, great game environment. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see Obi Toppin do well here. I think he's a viable, cheap option on the slate at 4,500. The rest of these Indiana guys, though, I'm probably going to pass on. If I had to say my favorite player on the Pacers, when you factor in price tag, it's probably Miles Turner at 7,100. I think Turner's a little bit too cheap here. Obviously, Halliburton, fine play as well. But let's move on to the other side of this game with Atlanta. And looking at the Hawks here, it's another team I definitely want exposure to. Trae Young at 9,100, I think is in a really good spot. Again, fast-paced game. Two teams that push the pace, two teams that don't play much defense. This is a spot where I definitely think we could get a big ceiling game from Trae. And you look at Trae's game log this season, he's had a very solid floor, but the ceiling really hasn't been there. Aside from that one game against Orlando when he put up 65 DK points, he's pretty much just been kind of living in like the mid-40s. At 9,100, in GBPs, you're going to want like 50 plus from Trae. And I definitely think this could be a spot where he gives us 50 plus. Just because I think the matchup is good. The price tag on Trae is not that expensive either. He's over $1,000 less than Halliburton. So I really like Trae on this slate. Don't even mind DeJounte either at 8K. Definitely, I wouldn't play DeJounte and Trae together unless you're just like stacking up this game, which I guess could be viable. But DeJounte, we know he's got a ceiling as well. It's a great game environment. Prefer Trae straight up, but I think DeJounte's playable at 8K. Jalen Johnson at 6,100, I don't mind. His minutes have been pretty secure this season since he's been starting. Even with Sadiq Bey backing him up, it seems like they prefer Jalen Johnson as a starter. And it seems like most nights Jalen Johnson's going to be in the closing lineup. He's going to play 30-plus minutes. Again, great matchup here. So I definitely think Jalen Johnson is in play at 6,100. I like Clint Capella a lot as well. Now, Clint Capella, the one issue with Capella is that he's not going to play a ton of minutes. Like he hasn't gotten to 30 minutes in a single game this season, and I don't think he'll ever play 30 minutes unless Onyeka Okongwu gets in foul trouble or something. But you look last game against the Sixers, like he still put up a double-double in 29 minutes, had 39 Draftkings points. This is a really good matchup. The Pacers have been getting killed by bigs this season. The Pacers give up a lot of points in the paint, so I think this is a really good spot for Capella. Even though he might only play 25, 26 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised to see Capella go out there and put up a double-double, give you 35, 40 DK points in only 25, 26 minutes here. So really like Capella on the slate. And then Bogdan, DeAndre Hunter, Onyeka Okongwu. The rest of these guys I'm probably going to pass on. But I definitely like these top 4 guys, especially Trey, Johnson, and Capella. Trey and Capella, for sure, my 2 favorite plays from the Hawks. But yeah, that's a great game to target. Definitely one we're going to want to get some exposure to. Let's move on to the next game, though. Cleveland and Philadelphia. So for Cleveland, we got some injuries to monitor here, or at least one injury to monitor. We do already know that Donovan Mitchell and Isaac Okoro are going to be out. Karis LeVert is listed as questionable. LeVert was questionable last game and did not play. So if LeVert is out again, you're just going to see a really big role for Evan Mobley, really big role for Darius Garland. Same for Max Strus. Like, the offense is going to be very condensed around those guys. Mobley last game, it was a blowout against Denver, but he was still productive, had 40 DraftKings points in 32 minutes. Without Mitchell today, I think Mobley looks very solid, and I think Mobley would project even better if LeVert got ruled out. I think the same could be said for Darius Garland. He looks like a pretty good play here at 7,600 with Mitchell out, and he would only project better if LeVert got ruled out as well. So I'm big on Darius Garland today. And then Karis LeVert, if he does play, I don't mind going to him at 6,800. I'd assume if LeVert plays, he starts, but I want to say when Mitchell was out earlier this season, they brought LeVert off the bench, so maybe they'll keep him off the bench. But even if he comes off the bench, like, you can still expect LeVert to play 30 plus minutes. Pretty much he's going to check in, and then he's probably not going to check out until like the second half, and then the end of the game. So you could still reasonably project LeVert for 30 plus minutes here, even if he doesn't start. At 6,800, I think he's priced more appropriately, whereas I think these other guys are a little bit underpriced. But I'm still interested in LeVert if he plays today. And then Strus and Allen, I don't mind either. Strus, I probably would only play at this price tag if LeVert's out. If LeVert plays, I don't have a ton of interest in Strus at 6,200. And then Jared Allen, I think at 6K is fine. Allen, not the greatest matchup here against Joel Embiid. Some obvious foul trouble risk, but Jared Allen's minutes have been kind of ticking up. He should play probably 30 to 32 minutes here if this game's competitive, which I think it should be. I don't mind him either, but definitely my 2 favorite plays on Cleveland are for sure Mobley and Garland. I like those guys a lot. I do want to mention that Dean Wade started last game in place of Donovan Mitchell. Played 24 minutes, had 26 DraftKings points. That's pretty much that's like the peak ceiling for Dean Wade. Like, rarely do you get Dean Wade putting up over 20 DK points, but he is cheap. There's not a ton of value on the slate. I think Dean Wade is playable if he starts again, but I would definitely temper expectations. He's such a low usage player. He is not a guy that really you should ever project to have that many DK points unless there's a ton of guys out. Obviously Mitchell's out, but I don't know if that makes too much of an impact for Dean Wade. So that's pretty much it for Cleveland. Let's talk about the other side of this game now with Philadelphia. And for the Sixers today, the only injury news here is obviously they don't have Kelly Oubre right now, but they have Nicholas Batum back, who's been out the last few games. He's back. For the Sixers today, I don't like a ton on the Sixers here. Not the greatest matchup against the Cavs. The Cavs are a pretty good defensive team. They play at a slow pace. Joel Embiid is a guy that can put up a massive game any night, and nobody would be surprised to see Embiid go out there and put up 60 plus DK points against the Cleveland team. But I don't consider Embiid like a priority spend up for me. He's just more of like a contrarian option on the slate. Tyrese Maxey, I think, is probably my favorite play on the Sixers if I had to go to anyone here. I want to say that the point guards have actually done pretty well against the Cavs this season for what it's worth. If you look at DVP and stuff like that. But Maxey, man, he's had a massive role this season. He's playing massive minutes. Even with Embiid, he has still been able to go out there and produce. I'm fine with Maxey at 8,800. I think he's probably my favorite play on the Sixers. Tobias Harris, though, at 7K, I'll pass on. Melton at almost 6K, I'll pass on. And there's really no value from the Sixers I'm interested in. Nicholas Batum's going to start. But again, another low usage player that just doesn't offer much upside. I'll pass on him, even though he's starting. So yeah, that's really it for the Sixers. They're probably one of the least appealing teams today. Not a ton I like on Philadelphia. So let's move on to the next game, Portland and Phoenix. So for Portland today, I think we got word that Malcolm Brogdon was probable, I want to say, and then he got downgraded to questionable. So don't know yet if Brogdon's going to be back for this game. Obviously, if Brogdon is back, that's just going to hurt everybody. It's going to hurt Jeremy Grant a little bit. It's really going to hurt Shaedon Sharpe and Skylar Mays. Sharp and Mays would pretty much be out of play for me if Brogdon is back. And then if Brogdon does come back, Brogdon, before he got injured, he was producing at a very high rate. He was playing massive minutes. Since he got injured, are they just going to bring him back and play him a ton of minutes? I would be surprised if they do that. So I would probably avoid Brogdon here, even if he does come back, unless it's reported that he's going to be full go, no minutes limit. But I don't know if they're going to give us that information. I don't really like much on Portland today unless, Brogdon remains out. Then if Brogdon remains out, sure, you could go to Grant, you could go to Sharp or Ayton. It is a revenge game for DeAndre Ayton. Like, I think this is a look. I don't buy into revenge game narratives often, but man, DeAndre Ayton had some bad blood with the Suns. I'm sure he wants to play well in this game, but what can DeAndre Ayton really do? Can he demand the ball? I guess. I guess he could shoot more in this matchup. Maybe he has a little bit of revenge on his mind tonight, but I don't like much on Portland here. There's a lot of blowout risk in this game as well. This might be a team I just kind of pass on today. I don't see too much I like. And then, for value, if you want to go to maybe a Jabari Walker, I know his minutes have kind of been trending up lately. He's been productive when he's gotten minutes. Maybe in a blowout scenario, he would see additional run. So I don't think Jabari Walker's the worst value here. Kamara has been starting lately, but that really hasn't resulted in much fantasy value for him. I'd assume he probably goes back to the bench if Brogdon comes back, or maybe they move Skylar Mays to the bench. But either way, I don't think I want to go to Kamara. That's probably it for Portland, I think. Let's move on to the other side of this game now. Talk about Phoenix. So for Phoenix, it's kind of the same thing when it comes to the blowout risk. There's obviously a lot of blowout risk here, but it is a great matchup. I do expect Portland to be, I think, Portland's going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the league this season. So Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Yusuf Nurkic are in great spots here. The price tags on Durant and Booker make them tough to play. Obviously, the offense is going to be very concentrated around those two guys. The usage is going to be very concentrated around those two guys. But at their price tags, $10K for Durant, $9,600 for Booker, I'm fine passing on these guys. Booker, he's only played 3 games since he's come back from injury, but clearly he's full go. He got up to 40 minutes last game. I know it went to overtime. I think it actually might have went to double overtime, but clearly Booker's full go right now. Between him or Durant, I think I'd lean Durant if I had to pick one of the two. Wouldn't be surprised if one of them has a good game here, just because the matchup is so good, but the price tags make them tough to roster on this slate. Yusuf Nurkic, I think, is probably my favorite play on Phoenix when you factor in price. Now, Nurkic's minutes have kind of been all over the place, but he did get up to 35 minutes last game. Again, that was an overtime game. But even if we get 25, 28 minutes from Nurkic here against this Portland defense that's terrible, this could definitely be a spot where you get a big game from Nurkic in even only 25, 28 minutes. So at 6,300, Nurkic is probably my favorite play on Phoenix today. And the rest of these guys, it's tough to consider Eric Gordon or Grayson Allen now that Booker is back. I know Beal's still out, but I just don't know if Gordon or Allen are going to have a big enough role. I know Eric Gordon had a big game last game, but I wouldn't be chasing that. I think at 5,200, he's priced where he should be. I think the same could be said for Grayson Allen at 5,100, another guy that feels priced where he should be. So that's pretty much it for Phoenix. We'll move on to the last game of the night. Talk about the Jazz and the Lakers. So for the Jazz here, I don't see a ton I'm liking on the Jazz today. You have Lauri Markkanen, who's 8,400. Feels like an appropriate price tag for Markkanen. Again, double overtime last game, so he got up to 50 minutes, played a ton, 69 Draftkings points. Definitely would expect some regression in this spot against the Lakers. Don't think the matchup's that bad for Markkanen, but at this price tag, Markkanen's not a standout option. Jordan Clarkson's been really good lately. Usage has been really strong for him. I've been saying this since they changed up the starting lineup. I think that's really benefited Jordan Clarkson. Putting Akbaji and Keontae George in the starting lineup has really helped Clarkson to get more usage, just because those are two low usage players that aren't going to take a ton of shots. So we're just seeing more shots for Clarkson now. And at 7,300, he's shown the upside to pay off this price tag. I don't mind him at this salary. John Collins at 6,400, I'll probably pass on here. Tough spot going up against Anthony Davis. A lot of foul trouble risk as well. Collins, his minutes have been strong lately, and he should be pretty productive now that he is starting at center. But again, I don't think it's the greatest spot for Collins. I'd probably be okay passing on him. And then Keontae George, again, he's been starting, been playing okay minutes. The price tag of 5,500 though makes him a tough guy to roster on this slate, I think. Not a standout option at this salary. Still playable, but not a guy I would be building around. And then again, Ochai Agbaji's been starting. That really hasn't resulted in much fantasy upside though. Last game played 34 minutes, but had just 12 Draftkings points. Again, this is a low usage player that doesn't really do much when he's on the floor except shoot threes if he's open. So tough to really consider Agbaji a great value. And then I know THT had a huge game off the bench last game in 29 minutes, but I probably wouldn't be chasing that. I mean, it is a revenge game for THT if you want to factor that in, but I think at 4,600, THT feels priced about right today. Not going to go there. I don't think I'm going to any other Jazz today. So that's it for the Jazz. Let's talk about the Lakers now. And for the Lakers, got to monitor the status of LeBron James. So LeBron is questionable for today. Anthony Davis is probable. LeBron did play 40 minutes in their last game against Houston. He has been playing some big minutes lately in some competitive games. I would expect LeBron to play here. I think most of the nights we should expect LeBron to play. I don't know if the Lakers play again tomorrow or not. I assume they don't. So LeBron at 9,900, Anthony Davis at 9,700. I kind of have some interest in both these guys. I think it's a better spot for Anthony Davis, though, going up against this Jazz team that's missing Walker Kessler right now. John Collins, I don't think is like the greatest defender. I definitely think this is a matchup Anthony Davis can have success in. AD's not been great lately. He's not really posted many huge ceiling games, but I definitely think this could be a spot where we get like 55, 60 DK points from AD. I think I slightly prefer AD over LeBron here, but obviously LeBron's fine as well. The rest of the Lakers, it's tough to get into these guys. They're all priced where they should be. Russell, Reeves, Cam Reddish, Rui. I don't see much I like on the Lakers outside of the top two studs. The rest of these guys I'm probably just avoiding. So that'll do it for that game, guys, and that'll do it for this 5-game Tuesday night slate. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, appreciate you watching. Hit that like button down below if you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Go check out PrizePicks as well, sponsor of the video. You guys can sign up for PrizePicks, linked down below in the description. Or just when you sign up, make sure to use promo code NOAH. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for PrizePicks with my promo code. But good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for watching as always. We'll see you guys in the next video.